Malaysian Maggi versus Indian Maggi. Which is better? Let's find out together. Maggi noodles are a true Malaysian icon. How do we know? It's literally the name Malaysians use to describe any instant noodles in the market, regardless of the brand. Mommy, Maggi Mommy. Gardenia's instant noodles, Maggi Gardenia. Even though Maggi has nothing to do with gardenia. Those Samyang pulled up noodles, Maggi Korea. That's how deeply rooted Maggi is in the hearts and minds of Malaysians. And of course, curry is the most popular Maggi flavor in the country. But didn't you know, in India, they have almost the same darn thing? Bam! Indian Maggi, or as they pronounce it as Maggi, which I had to purchase online. From the information I've gathered, Maggi Masala is their most popular flavor. And it's basically an equivalent to our Malaysian Maggi Curry. Only, as you can see, they call it masala instead of curry. For a very valid reason. In Malaysia, curry is a dish, no more no less. Just say curry and everyone will know what you mean. But in India, it's an umbrella term. Curry in Indian cuisine, let me rephrase. Authentic Indian cuisine basically means gravy or sauce, so it's a broad category. Go to India and order some curry, they'll ask you which one. Hence why it's addressed as masala, because in order to cook all sorts of curry, you'll need masalas to begin with. So while these are not similar, it still has its gastronomical relations. First up, product inspection. Let's look at the seasonings first. Right off the bat, you can already see the difference between the two. The Malaysian one has a slight redder hue, as if it contains more chili than the Indian one. It smells pretty sharp, bold, and hot too, on top of it being very aromatically fragrant. If I could specifically describe, imagine roasting whole spices, grind them finely, add some chili powder, and then smell it. You'll get the idea right away. The Indian one, on the other hand, smells quite similar, except it doesn't have that same spicy smell. In fact, I'm not smelling any chili at all. In addition to the similar smell of roasted spices, this one also smells more earthy and somewhat herbal. Now for the noodles, look at this. Purely identical. No surprise really, considering both products came from the same manufacturer. Pretty much explains why both of them only need 2 minutes to cook. And speaking of cook, I should probably look up how they cook this in India for authenticity reasons. Oh wow, on a pan with that amount of water? It's almost like cooking a risotto. Honestly, it isn't too far off compared to how we cook it here. Only it's being served soupy instead of dry like this. Alright, that I can do. Let's cook. We're gonna start with the Indian Maggi. The packaging says I'm gonna cook this in 210 milliliters of water. Well, here it is. Oh, free facial steaming, noodles, and a seasoning. So that was 2 minutes past, but the noodles are pretty al dente. Oh well, now for the Malaysian one. Normally I'd crack an egg at this point, but we're doing a taste test. So as is, we shall eat. And here we are, Malaysian Maggi and Indian Maggi side by side. Here in Malaysia, Maggi curry is typically enjoyed as a soup dish, which is exactly what you're seeing here. From the looks alone, we can already see it being more red, indicating that it's spicier. But in the culinary world, Scoville heat units can be visually misleading. Just because something isn't red doesn't mean it's not spicy, and vice versa. For all we know, the Indian one right here could actually be spicier, who knows? Though I will say, judging by the smell, it doesn't smell spicy at all. In fact, it actually just smells earthy and oval with hints of roasted spices and turmeric. Not a single peppery smell whatsoever. Of course, I will admit with the color and all, it looks super appetizing and appealing. I just hope it isn't too salty, because we're having it dry. Since the Indian Maggi is new to me, I'll be tasting this one first. I have a glass of water here to cleanse my palate. Bon appetit, bon apple tea, and bismillah. Oh wow, it's actually not salty at all. It's like it's actually meant to be served dry. It's a perfect level of salty, savory goodness. Also, I knew it wouldn't be spicy. The smell give it away. Hold on, I'm gonna taste it again. It actually tastes almost similar to our Maggi Kari, only the chili powder was taken out. Comparing it to the Malaysian Maggi Kari, this one also has a deep earthy aftertaste, almost medicinal even, but not at all unpleasant. Alrighty, now for a taste of home. Allow me to cleanse my palate again. Much spicier than the Indian Maggi, which is surprising. I mean, I thought Indian foods are typically more spicy than Malaysian foods. Needless to say, it doesn't have that earthy herbal taste compared to the Indian Maggi, but it's still super gosh darn flavorful and so aromatic. It's more aromatically sharp, while the Indian Maggi is more aromatically earthy. So, which one's better? Honestly, it's a tough call. While they both share the same DNA, their personalities couldn't be more distinct. Figuratively speaking, of course. The Malaysian Maggi Kari is like a bold, fiery performer that commands attention, while the Indian Maggi Masala is like a warm, earthy storyteller that draws you in gently. So here's my verdict. I can't go wrong with either. Both noodles are incredible in their own ways, as at one point, I actually felt like I was eating a completely different flavor of instant noodles. Ultimately, I think it comes down to your personal preference and, of course, your spice tolerance, because what really sets both noodles apart is their level of spiciness. At the end of the day, both noodles taste amazing. They're incomparable, and I think everyone should give both noodles a try at least once in their lives. Now, before we end this video, here's a wild idea. What if we swapped cooking methods? I mean, who says Malaysian Maggi has to be a soup dish? Or Indian Maggi has to be a dry dish. So I shall put this theory to the test. Malaysian style for Indian Maggi and Indian style for Malaysian Maggi. Let's see what happens. Malaysian one first. I can already hear my Malaysian viewers screaming at me in the comment section. Do your worst, I ain't scared. I'm actually more scared of how salty this is gonna be. Now the Indian Maggi. I will add a little less water than usual since it wasn't really that salty when it was dry, but still enough water to call it a soup dish, you'll see. And voila! Looking like two individuals with their clothes being swapped. We have a dry Malaysian Maggi and a soupy Indian Maggi. A little less soup, I know, but still soupy, look at that. I'm actually super excited to try the Malaysian one. It's looking like one of those spicy fire noodles. I just hope it isn't too salty. And the Indian noodles, even after it's been watered down, the color is as vibrant as a golden medal, which I've never gotten in life. Now we are gonna try the Indian one first. Let's begin. Damn, I knew it was gonna be bland. Yeah, I can officially come to terms that the Indian Maggi is best eaten dry. In fact, if you want it to be soupy, you're gonna have to add a little more salt yourself. Now for the dry Malaysian one. Okay, wow. Either this tastes amazing, or it's just my very unhealthy lifestyle kicking in. It's salty, alright, it's very salty. But it tastes good though, oh dear. Goodbye, kidneys. Well, that's the end of the video. Hope you're just as entertained watching noodle content as much as I enjoy making them. And I'll see you all in the near future. See ya! Okay, normally people will stop watching this video at this point. I think the coast is clear for me to do this. Oh, yes. Absolutely yes. By the power vested in me, I present to you curry and masala. You may now kiss my lips. Wow!